In April 1912, young Violet Jessup stepped onto the docks, staring up at the RMS Titanic as it towered above the crowds like a floating palace. Inside, she walked across gleaming floors and glittering lights, taking in the luxury that stretched in every direction. She paused at the grand staircase, watching wealthy passengers glide past chandeliers and carved railings. Through long, velvet-lined corridors, Violet explored the ship with both wonder and a strange sense of caution. That evening, she stood on deck at sunset, the cold wind brushing her face, unaware that this voyage would change her life forever. Just 1 year earlier, Violet had served aboard Titanic's sister ship, the Olympic, where calm days were filled with polite smiles and peaceful routines, until a sudden collision with a naval vessel sent metal screaming and passengers gripping the rails as the ship lurched. Shaken but alive, Violet made a promise to herself. She would not be ruled by fear of the sea. On Titanic's fourth night, the ocean seemed impossibly calm under a sky filled with stars. Then a silent shadow appeared, an iceberg drifting in the moonlight. Violet was one of the first to sense something was wrong. A soft but chilling crunch echoed through the ship. A slight tilt, a vibration through the floor. Titanic had struck ice. Officers rushed across the deck, uncovering lifeboats and shouting orders while the passengers' confusion grew. Violet moved quickly, wrapping blankets around children and calming terrified families as the freezing wind whipped across the deck. Chaos erupted. Lifeboats swayed. Passengers stumbled. Steam shot into the night air. In the panic, a desperate mother thrust her baby into Violet's arms, trusting her with the child's life. Clutching the infant tightly, Violet climbed into a lifeboat as Titanic tilted sharply against the dark ocean. From the lifeboat, she watched in horror as the Titanic's bow lifted straight into the sky, then snapped apart with a roar. Hours later at dawn, Violet was rescued, exhausted, shaking, but still holding the baby safely in her arms. Most people would never return to the ocean after such a night, but Violet did. 4 years later, she served as a nurse aboard the hospital ship Britanic, sailing calmly through the Aegean Sea. She spent her days treating soldiers in clean white corridors, pushing medical carts through the bright hospital decks. Until one quiet morning, a violent explosion tore through the ship, throwing Violet to her knees as water flooded in. Britanic began to sink faster than the Titanic. Lifeboats dropped into churning water as Violet helped panicked soldiers reach safety. But a new danger loomed. The ship's giant propellers were still spinning, pulling lifeboats toward their deadly blades. With seconds to spare, Violet leapt into the sea, escaping the suction in a desperate plunge for survival. Underwater, she struck her head but fought upward, swimming toward the bright shimmer of sunlight, until she finally broke the surface alive. Years later, long retired, Violet sat quietly in her cottage, surrounded by memories of the ships that shaped her life. Then one day she received a mysterious letter from the grown child she had saved on the Titanic, a life she helped preserve, now writing to say thank you. The Olympic, the Titanic, the Britanic. 3 mighty ships, 3 disasters Violet survived. Through courage, calm, and an unshakable spirit, Violet Jessup became a quiet legend. History would remember her as Miss Unsinkable. But to Violet, she simply did her duty, one voyage at a time.